Hello, scholars. This week in reading, we're going to keep working on sequencing of events in a story. So we're going to read some more stories and work on some more graphic organizers to remember how we put the events in a story in order. Okay, scholars, so remember, it's important to know the order of events in a story so that when we retell the story or we answer questions about it, we know when things happen at the beginning, middle, and end, and we understand how they started and ended. Okay, so let's get started with this little cartoon right here on how the elephant got its long nose. So let's look at the cartoon and let's read the first caption down here. Remember the word caption? It's the sentence or sentences that goes with the picture. All right, so down here, let's read. A long time ago, elephants had short noses. But one day, a crocodile bit a young elephant on the nose. The elephant tried to pull away, but as he pulled and pulled, his nose got longer and longer. When he pulled free, his nose was 5 feet long. He didn't like it at first. Then he found new things to do with his long nose. He reached into the trees to grab leaves to eat. Best of all, it was fun to take baths. All right, so that was a short story that we did that time. And now we're going to use the same graphic organizer as we did last week to put in the beginning, middle, and end of this story to review. Okay, so here we have the same graphic organizer with the beginning, the middle, and the end. And remember, the beginning is what happens first, the middle is that middle part, and then the end is all the way at the end. And in the beginning, we usually find out something about the characters and maybe if there's a problem, the problem. Okay, so let's look at the beginning. What happened first? Now, it's always important to reread when we're trying to figure out answers to questions and fill in information or write about the story. So let's reread what happened first in this first picture. A long time ago, elephants had short noses, but one day a crocodile bit a young elephant on the nose. Okay, so in the beginning, we can say we know that our characters are going to be the elephant and crocodile. Can animals be characters in the story? Yep, they can. All right, now the setting, when did this happen? So we know that this happened a long time ago, and we have a problem. The crocodile bit the elephant's nose. So that is our problem. The crocodile bit the elephant's nose. Okay, now let's go for what happened in the middle, which is going to be this middle section right here. Let's reread it, because remember, we have to reread. The elephant tried to pull away. As he pulled and pulled, his nose got longer and longer. So in the middle, we can write, as the elephant tried to pull away from the crocodile, his nose got longer. All right, now the end is what happened at the very end. So in the middle, our problem got a little bit worse. He was trying to get away, but his nose kept getting longer while the crocodile bit it. And now at the end, we're going to find out how this problem got resolved. So we are going to read this last part right here, which is the end. So let's read that together. When he pulled free, his nose was 5 feet long. He didn't like it at first. Then he found new things to do with his long nose. He reached into the trees to grab leaves to eat. Best of all, it was fun to take a bath. So how did our problem end? What happened in the end? So his nose became longer, but he used his nose to grab things to eat and to bathe. So he figured out a solution to his problem. And we could use our words too if we wanted to. Oh, no, I want that one to stay there. Let's go up here. When we talk about the beginning, we can use the words like first. When we're talking about the middle, we can use then or next. And when we talk about the end, we can say in the end, finally, and things like that. Okay, now we're going to read a little bit longer of a story and see if when we're retelling the events, we can keep them in order in our story. So let's read The Lion and the Mouse. All right, let's start right here. A long time ago, a mouse was looking for a good place to sleep. He climbed up onto what he thought was a small hill of warm, soft grass. He had really crawled up onto a sleeping lion. The lion woke up and grabbed the mouse with a huge paw. Then he opened his mouth to eat him. The mouse said, "Forgive me, I didn't mean to wake you. If you let me go, I'll do something to help you someday." The lion laughed at the idea that the little mouse could ever help him. Oh, let's see. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. So let's start right here. The lion laughed at the idea that the little mouse could ever help him. "What could a teeny thing like you ever do for me?" the lion said. But he let the mouse go. The very next day, two hunters caught the lion. They tied the lion to a tree while they went to get a wagon. The lion couldn't move. Just then the little mouse appeared. "Don't worry, my friend," he said. "I'll help you." The mouse gnawed at the ropes that held the lion. Soon the lion broke free. He said to the mouse, "You were right, little one. Already you have helped me and have saved the king of the beasts." The end. Now, when I was reading it, there was a word that I was not sure if I knew what it meant or if you would know what it meant, and it is gnawed. So the mouse gnawed at the ropes that held the lion. Gnawed means that he kind of chewed at it. So he was trying to chew through the rope. So he gnawed at the ropes. Okay. So we're going to work on the sequence of events for this story, just like we did last week and just like we already did with our elephant story this morning. But instead of just doing 3 big events for the beginning, middle, and the end, we're going to try to make a chart and see if we can list even more events than that and keep them all in the correct order. Okay, so in this chart, it's just like our beginning, the middle, and end one, as we have the beginning right there and the end all the way at the bottom. So the top of the page is where the beginning is, all the way bottom's at the end. And now we have 3 pieces for the middle. So we have 3 places where we can say what happened in the middle of the story. So I'm going to think about what happened at the beginning of this story. I should go back and look. So I'm going to go back and look. Let's see at the beginning. A long time ago, a mouse was looking for a good place to sleep. He climbed up on what he thought was a small hill of warm, soft grass, but really he crawled up onto a sleeping lion. So for the beginning, I could say, The mouse crawled onto a sleeping lion to take a nap. He did not know it was a lion. Just in case we think he did not. Okay, so that's gonna be what happens at the beginning. Now, what happens next? Now remember, I can always go back and look and see, so let's go back and look. The next. So I just read this top paragraph up here. And now next, and sorry, this is over it. The lion woke up and grabbed the mouse with its huge paw. Then he opened his mouth to eat him, and the mouse said, "Forgive me, I didn't mean to wake you. If you let me go, I will help you someday." So next, we know that the mouse woke the lion. The lion was angry and wanted to eat the mouse. And the mouse asked for him not eat him and that he could help him. So the mouse asked for the lion not to eat him, claiming he could help him one day. All right, now to happen, know what happens next, we got to go look back at our story, right? Now I just read this paragraph right here, so if I'm going to go what's next, do I go all the way down here? Nope, I got to read what happened right after it, because we need to keep the events in order. So right here, the lion laughed at the idea that the little mouse could ever help him. "What could a teeny thing like you ever do to me?" But he let the mouse go. So that could be our next event. The lion let the mouse go. Okay. So we have a kind lion. Now let's go back and read the next part of our story. The very next day, 2 hunters caught the lion. They tied the lion to a tree while they went to go get a wagon. Oh my goodness, that seems like a pretty big event to happen next. So the lion got, I'm going to say, captured by hunters and tied to a tree. All right, now we have one box left, so let's go see what happens at the end of our story in our last paragraph. The lion couldn't move. Just then the little mouse appeared. "Don't worry, my friend," he said. "I'll help you." The mouse gnawed, remember that means chewed, at the ropes that held the lion. Soon the lion broke free. He said to the mouse, "You were right, little one. Already you have helped me and saved the king of the beasts." So for our final thing, the very end, we can say the mouse helped chew the lion free from the ropes. The lion thanked the mouse. So we have all of our events, and now let's read our events on our graphic organizer from the beginning all the way through to the end. The mouse crawled onto the sleeping lion to take a nap. He did not know it was a lion. So remember, that is what happened first. And then second, we came upon the mouse woke the lion. The lion was angry and wanted to eat the mouse. The mouse asked for the lion not to eat him, claiming he could help him one day. And then third, next, the lion let the mouse go. Our fourth event is the lion got captured by hunters and tied to a tree. And then the last one, So at the very end, the mouse helped chew the lion free from the ropes. The lion thanked the mouse. Now, we talked about this before in class when we've been talking about sequencing of events. And if we left out any part of these events, the story wouldn't make as much sense. And if we put these events in a different order, it would also not make much sense. If we'd left out part 4 about the lion getting captured, then the ending wouldn't have made any sense at all. Or if we'd put the lion getting captured all the way at the beginning, the story also would have not made sense. So we need all of the events to be in the correct order, and we need all of the events for the story to be correct. Okay, so we're gonna read one more story, answer some questions about it, and you're gonna try to do the graphic organizer all on your own and then come back and we'll share one together. So, but first let's do this piece by piece and let's read our story called Pecos Bill and the Mountain Lion, a tall tale of the Old West. So read along with me. Almost everyone knows about Pecos Bill. He was born in Texas a long time ago. He grew up with a pack of coyotes. He was one of the toughest cowboys in the West. Pecos Bill had a horse named Flash. He treated Flash like his best friend. But Bill didn't just ride horses. He could ride anything that came along. One day, Bill was riding Flash through the mountains. A giant mountain lion jumped out in front of him. The big cat growled and showed his sharp teeth. Bill jumped off Flash and sent him home so he was safe. Was Bill scared? Of course not. He grabbed a rattlesnake and made it into a lasso. Then he threw the lasso over the mountain lion and pulled it in. The cat knew it was no match for Big Bill, so it gave up. Quickly, Bill jumped onto its back. Then he rode the mountain lion all the way home. Whoa, that's a crazy story. So, right now I want you to pause the video when I'm finished giving directions, and I want you to try to make your own sequence of events of this story. And then when you're done making your own sequence of events, you're gonna unpause it and look at my sequence of events that I made and see if yours was similar and you got all the big important things in this story. So go ahead and hit pause. Okay, so if you're watching now, then that means that you paused it and you'd made your own graphic organizer with the sequence of events, and now you're ready to check it with what I made. And it's okay if it's a little different. So I started with the beginning of our characters, and I said that our character was Bill. He was a tough cowboy. He rode a horse named Flash, but he could ride anything. So I just identified our characters at the beginning. Now, next, Bill was riding Flash through the mountains when a mountain lion jumped out at him. So that is what happened next. Then Bill sent Flash home safe and faced the mountain lion who was showing his teeth. Seemed pretty scary to me. Next, Bill made a lasso out of a rattlesnake and lassoed the mountain lion. I realized that I don't think I told you what a lasso is. In case you don't know, lasso is usually made of rope and what cowboys can use to put around a horse or a cow or a bull or an animal's neck to help control them. Kind of like a big old leash like you might use with a dog, but you usually have to throw it onto the animal because they won't let you get close enough to put it on without throwing it usually. So I had that. Bill made the lasso out of a rattlesnake, which is crazy, and lassoed the mountain lion. So he got as like a loop around the neck of the mountain lion and then had part of it in his hand too. And then at the end, Bill jumped on the back of the mountain lion and rode it all the way home. So just like we talked about before, if I hadn't put these events in the right order, if I'd put Bill jumped on the back of the mountain lion all the way up at the beginning, this story wouldn't have made any sense because we didn't even know that there was a mountain lion yet. So you have to put things in order and go all the way through. And it's okay if you didn't say exactly what I said, but if you have the general events that are in the story, then you should be good to go. All right, now we're going to answer some multiple choice questions about this. Okay, so now we have the story right here that we just read, and then some questions over here. So let's read our first multiple choice question together. Which sentence tells something that happens in the middle of the story? Look at that word middle right there. We know about the beginning, middle, and end. And even though we had our chart with things happening, with multiple things happening in the middle, it's still beginning, middle, and end. So something that happened in the middle of the story. Now that's not something that's going to have happened first. And it's not something that's going to happen right when the story was almost over. It's going to be in the middle. So let's read through our options, go back to the story, and then pick the best answer. So let's read A. Bill grew up with a pack of coyotes. B. Bill was born in Texas a long time ago. C. Bill sends Flash home to keep him safe. Or D. Bill rides the giant mountain lion back home. Now, I'm going to look at these and figure out which ones happened in the middle. Maybe some of them happened in the beginning and some happened at the end. So Bill grew up with a pack of coyotes. Now that's right in the first paragraph of this story, which means it happened in the beginning. So it's not going to be our answer. So I'm going to put a slash through it so I know that it's wrong and I don't accidentally pick it. All right, let's look up next. Bill was born in Texas a long time ago. That was right in the beginning too. So we're going to cross that one out because we're looking for something that happened in the middle. Bill sends Flash home to keep him safe. Let's see. We meet Flash here. Do you see how I'm going back to the story and reading, making sure I find the correct answer? So we get there. He was riding Flash through the mountains. The mountain lion jumped out in front of him. The big cat growled and showed its sharp teeth. Bill jumped off of Flash and sent him home so he was safe. That appears to be in the middle of our story. So I'm not going to pick it yet because I need to read all my answers before I pick one. So now let's go down to D and see if we can rule out D to know that C was our best choice. D. Bill rides the giant mountain lion back home. I know that I remember that happened all the way at the end after the lasso. So that's also going to get slashed. So my answer is C. Okay, now next up we have, why does Bill grab the rattlesnake? Let's look back and read where the rattlesnake came about. So the first time the rattlesnake mentions all the way down here. So I'm going to read the sentence before this and then a few sentences after. Was Bill scared? Of course not. He grabbed a rattlesnake and made it into a lasso. Then he threw the lasso over the mountain lion and pulled it in. So right here is the lasso that's going to go around the mountain lion. So let's read our answers so we can pick the best one. A, to use it like a rope to catch the mountain lion. That could be pretty good because that's what a lasso does. The lasso helps catch something. Okay, let's keep reading though to see if there's a better one or if that's our best answer. B, to save it from being hurt by the mountain lion. I don't think so. I don't remember reading about that. C, to stop it from scaring his horse Flash. Flash was already gone home, so that's going to be no. Or D, to try to scare away the mountain lion with it. He got onto the mountain lion's back. I don't think he was trying to scare it away. So that means that A was our best option. All right, so down here it says, what does Bill do when the mountain lion jumps in front of him? So recount those events. We know that when the mountain lion jumps out in front of him, he then sends Flash home. He gets the rattlesnake to lasso the mountain lion, and he gets on the mountain lion's back. And remember, it says right here, it says, what does Bill do when the mountain lion jumps in front of him? And that happens right here in our story. Hold on, let me grab a different color so that we can really look at it. So that happens right here in our story. And when this question asks us, what does Bill do when that happens? It's gonna come after that sentence, not before it too. So that has to do with sequencing our events as well. Okay, scholars, so your assignment this week is going to be to read a story and reading A to Z. I'm going to show you in just a second which story, and then make your own graphic organizer of the events in the story. And remember, they need to be in order, starting with the beginning and going all the way to the end. So I'm going to pull up the story. The story is called Little Red Riding Hood, and it is going to look like this. So you're going to read the story and then make a graphic organizer of the events in that story. Text me a picture when your graphic organizer is done, and let me know if you have any questions about sequencing of events. Bye, scholars. I miss you all.